Today's lesson is titled Regions and Culture. We're on Chapter 1, Lesson 2. Our focus activity is what is daily life like for a boy in India. Vocabulary is customs, values, interactions. Places is New Delhi, India. Let's do the read aloud. Aziz Narayan is an 11-year-old boy who lives in New Delhi, India. Aziz begins each day with prayers in his family's temple room and then heads to the kitchen for breakfast. Sometimes he eats toast and cereal. More often he eats poha, which is puffed rice with nuts and coconut roasted in butter and spices. Then Aziz rides a bus to school where he studies 11 subjects 6 days a week. 4 of those subjects are different languages. Our big picture. Do parts of Aziz's life sound familiar to you? Some probably do, like eating cereal for breakfast and riding a bus to school. Many such customs are shared by people around the world. Customs are ways of living that people practice regularly over time. A custom you might have is you might go to temple on Saturday, you might go to church on Sunday. Another custom is you might celebrate Christmas. Another custom is maybe you wear a special dress, or you get to pick where you want to eat for dinner for your birthday. Your parents take you out. So customs are ways of living that people practice regularly over time. Some of these customs, however, may not be familiar to you. That is because the cultural region of India is very different from that of the United States. All cultures are made up of different customs. These customs determine how we dress, how we play, how we eat, how we learn, how we live with other people and understand the world. Customs can reveal a great deal about what we believe is important in life. In fact, every detail of our life says something about the culture in which we live in. Culture is a huge part of your life. And I think after this lesson, when you think about it, you're going to say, a lot of these things are part of my culture, part of what I do. Living in India. So now we're going to kind of look at Aziz's life, and we're going to compare it to our own life. Aziz Narayan lives with his parents and 6-year-old brother in New Delhi, India. The Narayans share many customs with people in other parts of the world. Both parents work, for example. Aziz's mother teaches at a university, and his father works as a journalist. Aziz and his friends like to ride their bikes and play computer games. That sounds familiar. Parents working, you riding your bike, you like to play computer games. Many of the Narayan's other customs are unique to the culture of India. So now these are things that you necessarily don't do, but let's think about what our American culture is. Before you can understand these customs, however, you need to know a little bit about India's past. So let's talk about its past first. Throughout history, people have brought new customs and ideas to India. Thousands of years ago, the religion of Hinduism began shaping Indian culture. It remains a very important influence on Indian culture. About 1,000 years ago, Muslims began to settle in India. Muslims are people who follow the religion of Islam. Hinduism and Islam call for different ways of thinking. So these different ways of thinking caused a lot of chaos and clashing between these two cultures. And we can see that today in our world. We're having a lot of things going on. These differences in culture have caused conflicts between the groups in India. About 250 years ago, British traders arrived in India and brought their own customs with them. Britain took over India's government in 1858 and ruled India for nearly 100 years. Today, some Indians still speak English. So you probably heard that the British came and they took their goods and they were able to then use their waterways as their spices and all different commodities. So they exploited them. And eventually Mahatma Gandhi was able to get them out. The lives of Aziz and his family reflect the different cultures that are part of India's rich past. The Narayans speak both Hindi and English. Aziz loves to play cricket, a game invented in Britain that is a bit like baseball. So when the British occupied them, they took this idea of playing cricket and they adopted that. So that's why you'll see Indian people playing cricket and you'll see British people playing cricket. The Narayans are Hindu, as are most Indians. However, the name Aziz is a combination of Muslim and Hindu words that mean community harmony. Sorry, I was off the screen. Aziz is a combination of Muslim and Hindu words meaning community harmony. Remember, Hinduism and Islam clashed during some, and actually Aziz's mother was pregnant with him, and there was a big riot that happened, and therefore when he was born, she named him Community Harmony. I did a little Google search on that. Okay, cultures have many parts, and by the way, Aziz is a real boy. He is in his 20s now, so he's real. As you can see, a culture, because remember our book was made in 2000. As you can see, a culture is made up of customs that are passed down through time. Aziz's life shows that the ways we speak, The ways we play and the way we view others can reveal clues about the culture. One of the most important parts of any culture is its values, or things people believe are most important in life. Many people's values are shaped by their religious beliefs, and that's really important. Your religious beliefs will really shape a lot of your values. Okay, these are things you believe are most important in life, like respecting your elders, being kind to others. Okay, these are some things that our 10 Commandments have taught us, the Quran or the Torah have taught us. As a Hindu, for example, Aziz believes that all living things have souls and are a fraction of God. Aziz's parents and grandparents have passed down many other Hindu values down to him. The most important lessons which my grandparents have taught me are that we should live a simple life. That's the value, living a simple life, not having materialistic things. And that we should not be attracted by money, right? Money is not the end-all to be-all, that's what they're trying to say. We should not hurt anyone, including animals, and that's why we are strict vegetarians and don't even eat eggs. Think about how the values of religious beliefs that you have been taught affect the way you live from day to day. Culture at home. You can get many hints about what a culture is like by seeing how people live at home. Venerians live in a six-room apartment. Their living room is filled with books, sofas, a television with 15 channels, and carvings and pictures of Indian leaders and Hindu gods. Mainly traditional Indian food is cooked in the kitchen, including Aziz's favorite dish, uttapam. Aziz describes this as a sort of South Indian pizza made of rice and vegetables, coconut, and dried fruit. A temple room honors the Hindu god Krishna each morning and evening. Aziz goes there to offer his prayers. On Sundays, Venerians travel to the local temple and worship. Think about how the way you live at home reflects your family's beliefs and customs. Think about that for a second. Do you walk in your house? Do you have a TV with a lot of channels on it? Do you have any religious things, like do you have a cross if you're Christian? Do you have a Torah out if you're Jewish? What types of food do you eat? Do you eat all types of food? Do you eat pizza, it's American? Do you eat Mexican food? So think about that. Think about your culture. For instance, I'm German. My mom always used to make something called roden. It was this rolled beef with a carrot and a pickle. Or we have corned beef, which is Irish, from Irish and German. Okay, these are types of foods that go back to my culture. All right, cultural change. Cultures do not stay the same forever. They constantly change through their interaction with other cultures. Interaction is the exchange of ideas and customs. And by the way, this happens because when you go to someone's house for dinner and you see their mom made a meal like, for instance, pierogies. My girlfriend's Polish. Every time we go to her daughter's birthday party, we have pierogies, and my children actually started to like them. And every time we go for the birthday party there, we sing Happy Birthday in English, and then we sing it in Polish. And my daughter was trying to sing it in Polish this week. It's pretty funny. Venerians, for example, do not cook only Indian food. Sometimes they make Chinese or American food as well. Right? Are they Chinese? No. Are they American? No. They're Indian, but they like those types of food. This is an interaction. Okay? Once in a while, Aziz plays chess, a game probably invented in India over 1,000 years ago. The style of chess Aziz plays today, though, was created through interaction between Asian and European cultures. Another part of Indian culture that has changed is the role of women. Today, women in India, especially in cities, have more freedom and more rights than in the past. In fact, Indians elected a woman, Indira Gandhi, as head of their government in 1966. Aziz's 11-year-old cousin, Kalyana, says of her future, I could do anything I want to do. So, these interactions, India saw ideas of other people, the women having their rights, so therefore they took that and adopted it themselves. That's an interaction, where you take something from someone else that you like, okay? Aziz at school. Just as home life reveals about a culture, so does life at school. Aziz attends school 6 days a week and must wear a uniform. Because so many different languages are spoken in India, Aziz studies 4 different languages: Hindi, English, Bengali, Sanskrit, which is an ancient written language. Classes are taught in Hindi and English. Besides languages, Aziz also studies history, geography, math, science, government, and music. So, we have culture at our school. Our school colors are black and gold. We have lots of different foods in the cafeteria. Take a second and think about your school. Other parts of culture at school. One instrument Aziz plays in music classes called the mridanga, a 2-headed drum used in Indian music. Every day, Aziz eats in the lunchroom, which is with his friends. No meat or egg dishes. Remember, most of them are vegetarians because they believe that everything is a fraction of God. That's their value, therefore that's why in their school they do not serve meat. Imagine Eisenhower not having chicken nuggets. Instead, the students have spicy vegetables and lentils with rice and flatbread fried in butter. Imagine going into the cafeteria and seeing that. Some of you would be very happy, but some of you would say, where am I? Government. New Delhi, where Aziz lives, is the capital of India. India's government is similar to that of the United States. Indians vote for leaders to represent them in government. This form of government, called a representative democracy, is an important part of India's culture. It gives all Indians a say in how they are ruled. When Aziz turned 18, looks like we're a little stuck here. Oh, good, we're not stuck now. I think you probably could hear me, but you couldn't. Okay, when Aziz turns 18, he too will be able to vote for the leaders of his government. How old will you have to be to vote in elections in the United States? So why does this whole lesson matter? It says, whenever and wherever people have lived, their lives have been shaped by the culture around them. A culture's language, government, values, food, and entertainment may make people who they are. Cultures also change as they interact with people over time. The process of interaction is a big part of the story you will read in this book. In the chapters to come, you will read about the world's many different cultures, interactions between these cultures over the years that has created a fascinating, complex world that we live in today. So here's our main ideas. All cultures are made up of similar parts, such as religion, government, and education. Values affect not only what people believe, but also how they live. And culture can change as people of different cultures interact with one another. Just going back to here, remember, cultural change or interaction, that is, as cultures interact with each other, they change or they can adopt something from another culture that's not necessarily part of theirs. Remember, one of the most important parts of any culture is its values or things that people believe are most important. It kind of guides the way you live. And our last vocabulary word is many customs are ways of living that people practice regularly over time, like going to church on Sundays, going to temple on Saturdays.